It's Lionel Messi! He scored! The goal the world wanted! It's time for the biggest sports stories.
It's Neymar trying to feed it through. It's a stretch and it's in. And I can't remember the last time I saw something like this. Extraordinary scenes.
The biggest interviews.
It's more difficult. Obviously, it's more difficult.
And all the analysis right here.
If they play poorly, they come back, they've got all the excuses. They can't have it both ways.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
It is your station, my station, just coming on to 6 minutes past 6. It is a Thursday, our shortened version of our weeknight sports show. It is Throwback Thursday. The full team in the studio tonight, Mike Madorda, Barry Manandi, Alois Bunjera and myself, Mark Pozzard. Our shortened show, let's get straight into it. In the home front in football, FC Platinum coach Norman Mapeza refused to bury his head in shame after bowing out of the CAF Champions League at the preliminary hurdle, claiming only those in football will understand what hit his team at Mandava yesterday. In cricket, Midlands Provincial Affairs Minister Owen Ncube says Kwekwe is ready to host International Cricket Council ICC World Cup qualifiers as he hailed Zimbabwe Cricket's board decision to spread the qualifiers around the country, with games also set to be played in Harare and Bulawayo. And in judo, the Judo Association of Zimbabwe officially launched judo for the visually impaired with the hosting of a 2-day coaching seminar which began today at Ralph Valley Gym in Harare.
In our international sports news roundup, we have cricket news where Australia all-rounder Chris Lynn suffered a dislocated shoulder after landing on it awkwardly during the final of the Trans-Tasman T20 Tri-Series, which Australia won by 19 runs via DLS against New Zealand in Auckland yesterday. In rugby news, All Black fly half Bowden Barrett has been included on the Hurricanes bench for their Super Rugby clash against the Blue Bulls in Pretoria on Saturday. And in golf, Tiger Woods is looking forward to experiencing the rush of playing in the Masters for the first time since 2015, although he admits he still has plenty of work to do on his game.
In the beautiful game UEFA Champions League roundup, an irritable Jose Mourinho defended Manchester United's tactics after their goalless draw at Sevilla by responding in defiance to questions surrounding his tactical approach in the last 16 first leg. And Eusebio Di Francesco launched a furious verbal assault on his Roma players after they surrendered the lead to lose 2-1 at Shakhtar Donetsk. The Giallorosso coach saying he ought to have substituted half his team.
The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
Don't miss out on the Soul Fibronics play of the day. We've got a lovely little ditty from you from way back in time. DJ Baz, of course, with the selection. But before we get there, we've got the small matter of news from the home front as well as international sports news. In football, FC Platinum coach Norman Mapeza refused to bury his head in shame after bowing out of the CAF Champions League at the preliminary hurdle, claiming only those in football will understand what hit his team. After falling 3-0 in the first leg to Club Desportivo Primero de Agosto in Luanda, FC Platinum needed to win by 4 clear goals yesterday to upstage the Angolans. Instead, the Zimbabwe League champions were given a reality check and completed back-to-back defeats against the Angolans with a 2-1 loss at Mandava. Mapeza is quoted as saying, "We created chances and failed to convert a goal. It is the transition period where we were a bit slow when we lost the ball, but credit to the boys, they worked so hard and the only problem we had was working on our transitions. You know, at times there are mistakes footballers make and you need someone in football to understand it. We can talk much about them, but if you're not in football, it is difficult to understand." Before we get the thoughts of the team, just to run through the FC Platinum team that ran out at Mandava yesterday. In goal was Magalane, Elvis Moyo, Rafael Duvia, Calvin Moyo and Gift Bello made up the defense. In central midfield was Winston Mango, Neva Tigere, as well as Rodwo Chinyengetere. And the men who were tasked with prizing open the Angolans were Ali Sadiki, Marshall Mudewe, as well as Mukokeli Dove. Tigere substituted in the 34th minute for Charles Sivanda, and Hilary Bakacheza coming in the 74th minute for Marshall Mudewe. Alois, it's those that are in football that would understand what happened at Mandava. You had a long and illustrious career. Surely you qualify to tell us what happened.
I don't know.
But you're in football.
Yeah, I don't know, but they lost to Desportivo de Augusto, and it was not a good result. We spoke about it, that if they're not careful, they are going to lose this match. We spoke about it, that this team plays faster. They play quicker football than FC Platinum. FC Platinum are slower than the Angolans. So I don't
Before
know
you
if,
go on,
if,
Alois,
if that is being in football.
Those are the things that he actually talks about, Norman. And it's things that what then for me, probably where I say, come on, Norman, is these are things that we've been talking about for a long time. When we've talked about, okay, FC Platinum look good with the ball. FC Platinum love to pass it around. But the ball rotation is too slow. Those transitions from defense to midfield to attack are way too slow.
Yes, exactly. That's why I'm happy that he is actually conceding it now. That's where they lost the game. And it's very true. We have observed it since the beginning of last season. Even when they were winning, we kept on talking about it. That, you know what, they attack slowly, they defend slowly, and when they have the ball, you can actually predict where the
teams
next
can
pass
organize.
Where
it's
the next
predictable.
pass is going to be. Then you need to confuse your opponent when you have the possession. Watch even European football, when the ball is being moved, it's quicker. Then it changes direction. But then theirs is too slow. Now they made a team that is quicker, and they couldn't respond.
Is this a case, Barry, of FC Platinum just losing to a better team? I know we can spend hours talking about this and dissecting 100%. The result, but ultimately, 100%. If you take a look at the aggregate loss, 5-1, that's telling.
Yeah, they lost a better team insofar as the issues that have been raised by Alois just now, issues raised by you, and of course issues raised by Norman Mapeza. And I'm glad that he identifies the defensive transition as being a problem for him, because it's when they lost the ball that they had the problem, because the Augusto was fast enough to pick apart the holes that were left by the players who had the ball initially. So their attacking transition was quick. The defensive transition of FC Platinum was slow, meaning that they picked up holes and were able to create chances a lot faster. I'm glad he picked that up. So it's not only when they had the ball, even when they didn't have the ball, they need to do things a lot quicker. If they do that, FC Platinum could well defend their title in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, Alice?
You know, I think the disease came from the local league. You know, we don't have teams that attack quicker as well. Yeah. So he was comfortable. He won. We have seen it even sitting there at the National Sports Stadium. A lot of teams, Dynamos especially, were the worst. When they lose the ball, 7 of their players are actually walking back when they're being attacked. Yeah. So this is actually a disease in Zimbabwean football. Yeah. So I'm happy that he noticed it. He's going to fix it. The only team that does it well is Cape United. They've got better transition than any other team in the league.
Yeah, and that is, of course, it all centers around retrieving the ball as quickly as possible when you lose it. Now, we want to hear from you guys. Unfortunately, today being a Thursday, we don't have a fan zone, but we can always have this conversation on Twitter and Facebook. The handle to follow and interact with is at ZiFM Sport. And don't forget, you can also follow us in our individual capacities on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We'd love to hear from you, because ZiFM Sport is the show that's for the fans.
Hi, I'm Clemens Matau, chicken in midfielder. You're listening to ZiFM Sport.
We continue our local sports news roundup, and we go to the Midlands province, and we'll start with cricket. Midlands Provincial Affairs Minister Owen Ncube says Kwekwe is ready to host International Cricket Council ICC World Cup qualifiers, as he hailed Zimbabwe Cricket Board's decision to spread the qualifiers around the country, with games also set to be played in Harare and Bulawayo. Speaking at a tour of the Kwekwe Sports Club, Ncube lauded ZC for according Kwekwe an opportunity to host the qualifiers, as this would give the locals exposure to international cricket standards. The Judo and the Judo Association of Zimbabwe officially launched Judo for the visually impaired, with the hosting of a 2-day coaching seminar which began today at Ralph Valley Gym in Harare. According to JAS President Smart Deke, the 2-day seminar is being graced by 3 top judo instructors from Japan. Deke said this is all part of efforts to promote the sport in the country, with one of their focus areas this year being the inclusion of people with disabilities. And in athletics news, the Old Mutual Nkulamani runner to be held on the 3rd of June in Bulawayo, is set to incorporate a half marathon, which organisers hope will become a regular race on the athletics calendar. The half marathon will be in the mix with the usual 5 and 10 kilometre races.
Here we go again.
Enjoy world-class radio online. ZiFM Stereo is available on TuneIn. Search for ZiFM Stereo and you got it.
International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International Sports News.
Let's go. We begin in South Africa, where All Blacks fly half Beauden Barrett has been included in the Hurricanes bench for their Super Rugby clash against the Bulls in Pretoria on Saturday. Barrett's bench role is largely due to the fact that he did not feature in any of the preseason warm-up matches, and he arrived late in South Africa after attending the weddings of his brother and a close friend in England. Mercedes have revealed their 2018 car, which they hope will maintain their stranglehold on Formula One's world titles for a 5th consecutive season. The W09 was unveiled by world champion Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas at Silverstone. Across to the US now, Tiger Woods is looking forward to experiencing, quote, the rush of playing in the Masters for the first time since 2015. Although he admits he still has plenty of work to do on his game, Woods continues his comeback from spinal fusion surgery in this week's Honda Classic at PGA National as he bids to bounce back from a disappointing performance at the Genesis Open. And in New Zealand, Australia all-rounder Chris Lynn suffered a dislocated shoulder after landing on it awkwardly during the final of the Trans-Tasman T20 Tri-Series, which Australia won by 19 runs via DLS Duckworth-Lewis system against New Zealand in Auckland yesterday. Meanwhile, Pakistan have held onto the number 1 spot in the International Cricket Council's T20 ranking by a fraction of a point, despite Australia completing an unbeaten Tri-Series campaign. That's your sport in 60 on ZiFM Sport.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport.
There's no cup competition in world football bigger and more prestigious than the UEFA Champions League. And last night, an irritable Jose Mourinho defended Manchester United's tactics after their goalless draw at Sevilla by responding in defiance to questions surrounding his tactical approach in the last 16 first leg. Mourinho dismissed claims he was relieved to leave Sevilla with a draw, insisting Manchester United had opportunities to come away from the tie on top. David De Gea put in another fine display to thwart Sevilla on a number of occasions as the tie is finally poised for the second leg at Old Trafford. Guys, you take a look at that match yesterday. I'm going to start with you, Alois. As a Manchester United fan, I know Jose Mourinho is saying that United had chances to win, but Sevilla created far more chances and more opportunities and more clear-cut chances than Manchester United. Were you slightly disappointed, Alois, with the fact that usually this is a game Manchester United goes to win, especially with opponents of the pedigree of Sevilla?
Yeah, I'm actually disappointed. Like I said, I actually went to sleep, a disappointed man.
That bad?
Before the game actually ended with like 10 minutes to go, I just decided, you know what, I'm disappointed and whatever, I'll hear the results tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning. Because, how can a big club like Manchester United go to Spain to defend against Sevilla? They need to go there and slaughter them even in their own backyard. That's what champions do. Champions win home and away. It doesn't matter we know that Sevilla is not bigger. They are just there
they're a decent
see
team,
how far they can go. Yes, it's about how far they can go, not to win. They're not going to win this. It's just about how far they can go. So you need to go there and beat them.
Yeah.
And come back at home, it has to be a comfortable win. But it puts it delicately now, because now they can actually come to Old Trafford and say, you know what, we're in with the chance, we can win this.
If Sevilla score, then it will complicate the situation at Old Trafford. David De Gea, once again outstanding last night. There were 3 saves that he made, 2 particularly, which were world-class saves. I mean, stunning saves, and Sevilla could score on both occasions. Now, we talk about David De Gea being such an outstanding goalkeeper, but I feel that he makes far too many saves, and for me, that's a damning indictment on the defense. He's far too exposed.
He's exposed, and also it's a damning indictment on his organizational ability as well, because perhaps he's not advising his defense correctly. The good thing is that when they get behind the defense, he's able to then make the saves that he ought to. This guy is worth his weight in gold. If Manchester United lose him in the summer, I think Manchester United is done.
Oof. Right, other results from the Champions League. Shakhtar Donetsk 2, Roma 1, Chelsea 1, Barcelona 1 on Tuesday night, and Bayern Munich 5, Besiktas 0.
Now, these past 2 weeks produced some riveting football action courtesy of the Champions League. With many blockbuster fixtures on display, the round of 16 first leg ties produced some of the best games of the season, be it the humdinger in Turin or the thriller at Stamford Bridge. Let's take a look at some of those in detail. Now, football philosophies.
Yeah.
You look at the football philosophies of Tottenham, Liverpool, and Manchester City. They all won big. And then you, in contrast to that, you got Manchester United and Chelsea. But you look at those teams that won big.
Yeah, I think
attacking football wins, doesn't
that's it. I think that's what you see. Conte and Mourinho are all about organization, are all about keeping it tight at the back. They're all about keeping it compact. But you take a look at the philosophy of Tottenham Hotspur, Liverpool and Man City. They went out to get a positive result. Now, Tottenham, listen, they were 2-0 down very early in that game. But what did they do? They played. They took the game to Juventus, even though when they are away.
Let's make it a small loss.
Yeah, because
small margin loss. They still went on to try to get a result.
You take a look at Jose Mourinho's approach, and it's not just in the Champions League. The way he has approached games, even in England. You think if it was Mourinho who had fallen behind 2-0 in Juventus, it would have been match over, game over. Because I don't think this Manchester United side can chase games.
Right.
You know, they're dependent on keeping it tight and then getting a goal and making sure that they defend very well. So, you know what frustrates me, even as a Liverpool fan, is that because you knew United. You know, United became a global brand. And it's a team that got fear from its opponents and also respect. Now, why was United respected? Because United attacked. United played swashbuckling football under Fergie. Even if you were leading 2-0 against United in the 85th minute, you knew they were in the back of your head. You had that thing. Do you know what? We're not safe. These guys can still come back.
We were not down and out yet.
We're not seeing that.
We just had the hope that we can do it, and most of the time they did it.
But is that not what we've been saying all along that has affected Paul Pogba in terms of the playing style, the pattern of play that's coming out of Manchester United? Doesn't suit players like Alexis Sanchez, doesn't suit players like Paul Pogba. So you're never going to see the best out of them, because those are attacking players who need to be in the attacking third to make those killer passes and get that incision going.
What needs to change, Alois, at United for you? I mean, just 2 quick fixes apart from the philosophy. Like right now, what can he do to just change things?
He just needs to change the style. He just needs to relax.
Can he?
I don't know. Is he that rigid?
No, he can. He can.
I think he can.
I'm going to say he can. Remember Chelsea, the season where he won the title eventually?
Yes, Robin, Duff, Lampard, Drogba. Even like 2011 as well. I mean, recently, not 2013 or
recently when he came back.
Just a couple of seasons ago, yes, when they won the title.
They were going like the clappers. They were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, they were brilliant.
Scintillating football, so he's able to.
I don't know why he is scared in Manchester United, but I'm sure he is capable of changing things.
Does he trust the players that he's got?
I'm beginning to wonder. I don't think he does.
Because you look at his roster.
Exactly.
And you think he's a fantastic player.
He actually has the attacking players.
Martial.
And he's got them sitting on the bench.
Rashford, all on the bench last night. And Pogba only came on because Ander Herrera was injured.
Shucks. Well, okay, we go accelerated about Manchester United. Quick one. Any criticism on Chelsea, or is this a good result for them? 1-1 against Barcelona.
It's not an entirely good result because they allowed Barcelona an away goal. It's going to be very difficult at the Camp Nou, but they still have a chance.
They're still in the tie.
They're still in the tie.
They're still in it.
It's not a good result.
Yeah, but it's not a bad result either.
What team you're playing against, 1-1 at home is still not a good result.
So not too much criticism of Antonio Conte in the studio, but good wins for Bayern Munich, Liverpool and Manchester City. Those ties all but over. We'll keep you appraised as to what's happening in the Champions League when we're back next. We're back tomorrow. May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Manande, out.
Be sure to catch ZiFM Sport every weekday on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.